Well, I've got a question for you. What one thing both turns away wrath and is strong enough to break a bone? One word: gentleness. Gentleness. A chosen, humble kindness. Gentleness is a powerful tool, and it's an important tool in the arsenal of every horseman. If we want to create gentle horses, we have to be gentle people. Well, hey friends, it's Ty from Broken Road Ranch. Hope you're doing well. We're here all about the good of the horse for the glory of God. And we're changing our format a little bit. We hope you like it. Forgive us if it's a little glitchy. We're figuring out how to try to be bad video editors. We're pretty good at being bad. But our goal here is that it's a little easier to watch, takes you deeper, both in horsemanship and in the Word, and hopefully it's more fun to watch so more people want to watch and hear the Word. That's our goal. Well, gentleness, that's the next fruit of the Spirit that we're talking about. This chosen, humble kindness is nothing to be sniffed at. And it's not to be mistaken for a lack of discipline. No. It is a spirit that says, even in the midst of discipline, in the midst of everything I do, I'm going to find the kindest, humblest way to present to you, my horse, the thing that I'm asking you to do, to help you in the best way that I possibly can. We're going to jump here to a minute with Itchy Cat, where we're going to get a baseline for the issue she's having. She's having some unevenness between her right hand and left hand turnarounds. Let me show you the problem and then we'll come back.
In this left turn, watch Itchy Cat's head and neck there come up and gape, and also watch her front feet, how she's not really wanting to cross over in this left turn. She was fairly committed with the hips, but not completely. Now compare that to this. Look at the reach as she's stepping to the right with that shoulder and how steady she's being through the head and neck. So that shows the issue here, the turnaround, particularly to the left. Now look at her displace the hip here, take tiny steps with the left, and then that right front wanted to step straight out instead of over. That's the heart of the issue right there. Compare that to this right turn. She takes a big step with that right front, crosses over with the left. The right hind stays steady, and over she rolls.
You know, if anyone is deserving of God's wrath, it's us, His people. Because we seem to love His grace and His benefits and yet reject Him. May God forgive us. Hosea chapter 11 tells us it's always been this way. I'm going to give you a quick narration. I would recommend that you go and read it, but I'm just going to give you the quick narration. It says that God drew His people with cords of kindness, with bands of love. It says He was to them as one who takes the yoke from their neck. It says that He stooped down and fed them, humbled Himself, provided for their needs, loved His people, drew them with kindness, gentleness, and love. And yet, heartbreakingly and familiarly, it says, my people are bent on backsliding from me. Though they call to the Most High, none at all exalt me. Well deserving of wrath and anger and condemnation. And yet, here's what they receive. It says, but my heart churns within me. This is God speaking. And my sympathies are stirred. And as a result, verse 9 of chapter 11, it says, I will not exercise the fierceness of my anger, and I will not come with terror. Let's follow that example as trainers, as horse people. Let's look at some exercises that can gently, kindly, humbly help Itchy Cat improve her turnaround.
So now we're going to start to fix it. First thing we're going to do is we're going to do some work on lateral softening. We're going to do here, we're doing figure eights. All we're trying to do is soften her through the head and the neck first. Doing a whole bunch of changes of direction. We're going to do this. You can do this right as soon as you step on them. Okay, next we're going to work on the problem with the hip, because I believe in starting with the hip. So we're going to step the hip to the middle of the circle. Here. Going to step the hip to the middle. Then we're going to build on that last exercise, and we're going to bring the head and neck in. Then we're going to walk a circle. Then we're going to come to the middle, and we're going to try to change directions. We're going to push the hip over, try to keep her fairly straight. push the hip over, and she's really struggling here. She's bobbling. There she steps in, but now she immediately wants to back up, which is a no-no, but we can only fight so many battles. So we're going to go, okay, our hip's in, we fixed our bend, and now we're going to walk out of it. Okay, we made our point. We got our hip in the new direction, we got her nose in the new direction, and she was fairly soft. This time we're going to come around and try to do it without having to come to a stop. So the hips come over. Now the bend change. See that bend change? Again, this is not like miracles. This is fairly early in this mare's development here as far as this exercise goes. We're going to come around. We're going to do it again. This one's going to be a little bit better. Watch. Step over. We never had to stop. And we changed directions. She actually changed her own bend. Now we're going to work on the shoulders. Look at her bent left, stepping to the right. Look at how she's really stepping pretty good. Now compare this. Look at how unsettled she is in her head and her neck, and how she's not really wanting to step over. She's kind of moving her hips around. She's stepping to herself and not over. She's going to commit right here. Much better. She gets 2, 3, 4 steps.
A world that is full of anger and vitriol and hatred and division. What this world needs is gentleness. What your horse needs and what's going to make them great? Gentleness. Psalm 18. David says, here in the midst of this psalm, it says things like, smoke went up from his nostrils, speaking of God, and devouring fire from his mouth, and the earth shook and trembled. The foundations of the hills also quaked and were shaken because he was angry. And things like David saying, you strengthened my arm to bend a bow of bronze. What does David say makes him great? Not the anger, not the fire, not the smoke, but instead, in verse 35, David says of God, your gentleness has made me great. My friends, what this world needs is gentleness. What's going to make your horses great is gentleness. What's going to make your family great? Gentleness. This chosen, humble kindness is what the world so desperately needs that it's immediately disarming. Go out today. Be horsemen of gentleness. Be people of gentleness. And let's change the world together. God bless you, my friends. See you next time.